Hi, welcome to Lil's Vintage World and welcome to a rather exciting reading vlog. I'm so excited to get reading these books. So this is kind of going to be like part one of two, because I have two books to share with you, but I'm going to do separate reading vlogs for both of them. Hope you don't mind. So these two books were #gifted to me from the publisher, which is Dean Street Press. These are furrowed middlebrow books. You know how much I love these books. I'm really starting to get quite a big collection. I've done so many reviews of so many wonderful, wonderful titles, and I know lots of you have gone and picked up some of their books and really enjoyed them too, so I'm so happy about that. But I am on their, I suppose it's a mailing list, and I also follow them on social media, and they announced a little while ago that they were going to be republishing 12 Susan Scarlett novels. Now, may or may not have heard of Susan Scarlett, but I bet you've heard of the book Ballet Shoes by Noel Streatfeild. Well, Ballet Shoes, read it a few times, really loved it. Susan Scarlett was the pseudonym, kind of pen name for Noel Streatfeild, and under the name Susan Scarlett, she wrote 12 novels, and for Middlebrow I've brought all those 12 novels back into publication, which is really rather exciting. I am so excited for these. All 12 of these novels sound wonderful. They all sound a little bit different. There's a murder mystery in there along with your kind of typical sort of romance type book, and just wonderful, wonderful writing and wonderful fiction. I'm very excited to start reading these. So as I said, I was very kindly gifted two of them, and I'm going to show you the two that I've sent. So the first up, I have Clothes Pegs. So excited to read this one. I'm going to start this one. This is what this video is going to be about, and then the next video will be about this one. This is Peter and Paul, both of which have the most stunning covers. Furrowed Middlebrow really take effort with their covers. They really, really do. And if you're not interested in either of these books, I'm sure you probably are, go and check out the other Susan Scarlett novels, because their covers are stunning, absolutely beautiful. I kind of want to get them all just for their covers, just as little works of art. I think they look absolutely incredible. So I am going to start with this one. This is Clothes Pegs. Oh, and I think I'm going to go and read it in the garden, so come and join me. So it is an absolutely beautiful day, and myself and Puppy have just come outside into the garden in the sunshine. I'm on my swingy seat. Pup's doing a little bit of sunbathing and we're going to read Clothes Pegs. Now, I'm so excited. This is one of the books that I was so excited for when they came out with their list and I could read the blurbs. And the reason for it is because it's a lot about vintage clothing, which apparently Susan Scarlett was a big fan of writing about. So excited for that in all of them. I mean, they all sound wonderful, each in their own way. But this one, I believe, is about a young woman called Annabelle who takes a job in a high-end dressmaker's to kind of help her family out in terms of their finances. And then she's offered the role as a mannequin. Such a 30s job, isn't it, to be a mannequin? Amazing. And mannequins had this bit of like a reputation, and had quite status if you were a mannequin at the time, which is amazing. But because of her status, she ends up kind of falling out with her family a little bit, and then she catches the eye of this very wealthy lord. And I expect there's going to be a bit of romance in there as well, and I'm very excited to read that. So yeah, shall we read the first bit together? I think so. So let's read together. I did pick out my Matilda bookmark. So stunning, the cover. And a little bit about Susan Scarlett herself. And then these are all the books here, and then these are the ones by Susan Scarlett. And yeah, these are available as well as part of the re-release, so that's exciting. And do you want to know a fun fact? So the introduction is with Elizabeth Crawford. I always leave the introductions and come back to them after. So fun fact for you about Elizabeth Crawford and myself. I'm currently writing my dissertation on the women's suffrage movement, and one of the key books, well actually two of the key books that I'm using are by Elizabeth Crawford, so we like that at the moment. Spending a lot of time together. But anyway, yes, here's the introduction that I'm going to miss out. Skippy, skip, 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 skip. And here we go. Chapter 1. Here we go. Chapter 1. Ethel Brown looked at the clock. 6:10. Right, I'm going to read now. I'm literally only read a paragraph and I've found a line that I love. "We may have to live simply," she often said, "but I like to feel as if the Queen walks in, there's nothing to be ashamed of." I love that. I feel like that's such a mum thing. If you're wondering what that noise is, that's Puppy. He's licking my leg. I've come inside because it's so hot, but do you ever have moments where books speak to you? So this chapter, Annabelle's stitching away and then she's thinking about holidays in Bournemouth. And the Browns always went to Bournemouth for a fortnight in the summer. I always went to Bournemouth as a child. It's so weird, and it's just brought back lots of memories because she's like remembering back. How funny is that? It's because you're speaking to me, and I'm on page 3. Oh my goodness, I've had to just put the book down a sec and just take a breather, because I love the book so much and I felt like I just needed to do a little gush. So I'm only on page 19, and so far we have met Annabelle, who's our leading character. She's 17 and she's got younger siblings, and she works at a dressmaker's. So at the beginning she works at this dressmaker's, which is like the really big posh dressmakers. It's extremely well known, and she is like right at the top sewing away, but she's very, very good at what she does. She's very talented, but then the big boss, the owner, they find out that their model, that's the dark brunette model, Nancy, has given up her position as modelling without any notice, and they're like, oh, well, I'll have to see if we can find someone. And then they're like, well, actually, there's Annabelle, right at the top. So on like, in terms of wages, she's right down at the sort of bottom, whereas models are like right at the top. So it's like whoosh. And she is given a trial. And I've just read the bit where she literally goes to meet the 3 other models, and she has to get changed, and she's like, I feel really embarrassed to get changed in front of them because I'm wearing like a vest, and everything is clean but very sensible. And yeah, there's this line, and I just laughed out loud. I thought it was wonderful. And it's so funny, and I just liked it. I've never been particularly vain, but to be in a room with anyone as lovely as that makes me feel as lousy as I probably look. Elizabeth, who's one of the models, examined herself in the glass. Fancy looking like that over those knickers. Oh, it's so funny and it's so heartwarming, and I just love it. I'm only on page 19 and I'm already gushing away. Oh dear. It's gone much cooler now, so I've come back outside to read, and I've just read another chapter. That's a noisy car, if you can hear that. I've just read another chapter. I've just read chapter 4, and honestly, I think this might be one of my most favourite chapters that I've just generally ever read in literature. Like, it's right up there with some of my chapters from like my favourite books, which is a little bit worrying because I feel like I'm putting pressure on this book to be one of my favourites, and it doesn't have to be. But it's just, I've just read the most amazing chapters. So in chapter 4, there's a dress show. So essentially you get these people, they're sat around on these little tables and they're smoking their cigarettes, and they've got these pieces of paper, and what they have to do is they have to tick what items they want as the models come out. So remember, there's 4 models, and yeah, they come out, show the dress off, and then the people that are there, they tick off what they want and do their orders and stuff. And it was, honestly, I was thinking, what bit can I read to you? And the truth is, I could read anything to you because I wanted to read the whole thing. It's just wonderful. But we have met the love interest now, David. We've met him, and he is with a woman who is vile. I absolutely hate her, but I'm really enjoying hating her. So her name's Octavia. She's very beautiful, but she's a bit poor and she needs money, and she's very demanding, and she does something really horrible to Annabelle. But I won't say what she does. But yeah, I'm really enjoying hating her, and the dress show is just amazing, and I'm wearing almost the most perfect dress. So the dress that I've got on, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got little florals. And Annabelle, for her last dress, she wears a dress and it is called Spring Song. And if you see my dress, it's got like little spring flowers on. I know it's on a black background, but little spring flowers, and I thought, how perfect for what I'm reading. Another line that made me laugh as they're ordering drinks. An orange blossom with just half the usual gin, and a gin and French with the extra gin left over from the orange blossom. I love that. That really made me giggle. Come inside because I fancied a little snack. So I am here, chapter 6. I've got myself some grapes and just going to sit here and chill with Pup down there. He's watching the garden. Yes, you gorgeous boy. So yes, going to have my grapes and then back to reading. So I couldn't resist not picking up my book while I ate my grapes, rather. Didn't read grapes. So I'm eating my grapes and I got to this bit and I thought, again, it's speaking to me. So they're talking about their garden, which, as you know, that I love, and talking about lilies. And it says, it's great the lilies are coming on like that. George was sidetracked, as he had hoped. You'll find it a bit all right, old lady, sitting out for tea with the smell of your own lilies all around you. And I thought that was so funny because my lilies, literally you walk out of here and the smell of lilies is just hitting you and they're just glorious. Me and Pup back in our happy place. I am on chapter 7 and I'm going to make this the last chapter because I've got to go out later. But yeah, just reading in a happy place on our swingy seat in front of the pond. So yes, on to chapter 7 it is. It is now the next day. It's actually the evening, hence why it's a bit darker. But yes, and I am going to read a little bit of Clothes Pegs. I'm not going to read loads because, well, 1, I want to make it last longer, and 2, I'm quite tired. So I think I might just read for a little bit, see how I go, and then head off to bed. But I am starting on chapter 8. Let's do this. Hello, it is the morning time, and apologies if you can hear the washing machine, but it is another day to read Clothes Pegs. I don't want it to end. I kind of keep putting off reading it, but I also want to read it at the same time. I'm like, yes, really need to read it, but also don't want it to end. But yeah, I've got, I think, what am I on? I think I'm on page 142 of 193, so I've got like 50 odd pages to go, and yes, I should get through it today. I've painted my nails because they were really getting on my nerves, although I'm not sure if I like the colour actually. It matches my yoga mat and it matches the florals in my dress. Oh, and my watch strap. I like pink. What can I say? Like pink. But yeah, at least it looks nice because my nails were really getting on my wick. But anyway, I'm gonna read this for a bit Might read a chapter, put it down and stretch it out for as long as I can. I'll let you know how I get on. So I have now finished reading Closed Pegs by Susan Scarlett and thought I would wrap up this video by doing a little review for you of what I thought of it. Oh, what can I say? I absolutely loved it. It was just wonderful. It's essentially about this 17-year-old called Annabelle Brown, whose family are working class, and she is the eldest of several children, and she helps her family out by donating part of her wages towards her keep, essentially. She is a worker working at the bottom run, shall we say, of a dressmaker's. But then one of the mannequins, one of the models, quits unexpectedly, and the owner of the dressmakers says, actually, there is this beautiful looking young woman up top, one of the workers. So they get her in for a trial. The trial is very successful, and off she goes, and she becomes a model or a mannequin, which was a real privileged position in the 1930s. And we have so many wonderful chapters about clothing and dress from this wonderful period of history. While she is being a model, a mannequin, in comes these two people. One I really didn't like, but I loved hating her. Her name is Octavia. Everyone thinks Octavia and David are going to get married because it's a very suitable match in terms of both their social status. But, you know, she catches the eye of David and David catches the eye of her. But is it smooth sailing when they're so different and from such different walks of life? I loved this book so much. I loved what it represented. I loved what it's about. If you write down what my favourite things are in a book, my favourite period is the 1930s. 1930s, yes. About fashion, having a fashion element to it, yes, big old tick. With a light romance in there, but that's not being the whole story, and that's there too. I like a comic writing style, which we have here, and I like the writing to be simple yet captivating, and I just completely get that, and I absolutely adored it. I gave it 5 stars, 5 out of 5 stars. It has to be up there with my favourite books now, and I can't wait to reread it actually, and reread it, and I'm going to reread it in one chunk this time, and I think that'll be a real treat now that I know how it ends. There's a few characters in here that I absolutely loved to hate. There were 3 in particular, and you know, there were characters in here that I absolutely loved and adored, and it was so wonderful. Well, like my other favourite books, I do wonder why, for what reason it ever went out of print, because I genuinely think it's such a wonderful book and a wonderful read, and I adored it so much. And yes, as I said, it's a new favourite book of mine now. So that is it for me and Closed Pegs by Susan Scarlett. I hope you have enjoyed this vlog, seeing me read it and get excited about it. There are 11 more Susan Scarletts for me to read that have also been republished by Farrow Meadowbrow, so I'm going to very slowly get my hands on them and work my way through them. But yes, let me know what you thought of Closed Pegs. Does it sound like your type of book? Does it sound like your type of thing? Let me know in the comment section. So thank you so much for watching. Thanks again to Farrow Meadowbrow for sending me this copy. It's not going to leave my side now, ever. And yes, so from me in my garden, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.